Alright? So we do this to obtain mercy. And another way you can obtain mercy as well. Like I was saying, other brothers gotta do more by giving alms, man. That's what I'm saying. That's what we say we go to the elders. You help the poor, whatever the case is. Be charitable, man. That's another way, okay? If you have, you give, man. Okay? That's what Scripture says. Read 1 Peter chapter 4. First Peter chapter 4, verse 18. First Peter chapter 4. First Peter chapter 4, verse 18. Shall we on? That's not a scripture. Let me see if I can find it. Read it. 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 8. First Peter chapter 4, verse 8. It wasn't 18, it was 8. There's one another way you can receive mercy, man. Okay? There might be a lot of other brothers locked. This is what we do as well, man. Most High is going to take every work into judgment. 1 Peter 4 and 8. And above all things, have fervent charity, which is brotherly love, or could also go giving into the misfortunate amongst your people, man. 1 Peter 4 and 8. And above all, have fervent charity among yourselves, brotherhood as well. For charity shall cover the multitude of sins. Charity covers a multitude of sins, man. Being charitable, man. Most High overlook a lot of your transgressions if you're charitable or you brotherly, man. Okay, which this whole lesson was about today. The Spirit had me going into that today, man. Okay, so the Scripture says charity covers a multitude of sins. Alright? Matter of fact, it says in the Apocrypha, let me get it. Ecclesiastes 29. Ecclesiastes chapter 29. So being charitable, giving alms, I'll read that. Okay. And I think alms is a Greek word, ilimon, which means mercy, man. Okay. Let me read on though. Ecclesiastes 29, verse 12, it says, Ecclesiastes 29 verse 12. Okay, this all things you gotta consider as well. Some brothers just might be a help. Okay, if you a help, that's a good thing, man. Because it says what? Ecclesiastes 29:12. Shut up arms in thy storehouses, and it shall deliver thee from all affliction. When you give alms to less fortunate or to other brothers or whatever the case is, it delivers you from affliction, because it says in 1 Peter chapter 4 verse 8 that charity covers a multitude of sins, man. So that's another way you receive mercy from Yahawah, Yahawashi. There was a story in the book of Tobit, okay, and his son Tobias, man. The Most High sent the angel Raphael to deliver him from that spirit, and he was getting his bride, because that spirit kept killing all her former husbands. Okay? And the Most High sent an angel with him to protect him from that spirit and to find him. Because why? Tobit was a man of the Most High, and he was also what? Charitable. Read Tobit chapter 4. Okay, let me read Tobit 1. That's why it's very vital you get the Apocrypha, man. That's a whole lot of books and scriptures and history that's missing. Losing the page. Tobit chapter 1 verse 1. The book of the words Tobit, son of Tobias, the son of Aneliel, the son of Aduel, son of Gabriel, of the seed of Asher, of the tribe of Naphtali. To be the so-called Argentinians, the Chileans today. That's the tribe of Naphtali. Alright? I think it's the Ropias Indians were down in that way, and other various indigenous tribes. It says, who in the time of Salmanasseh, king of the Syrians, was led captive of this, which is at the right hand of the city, which is called properly Nephthalia in Galilee above Asher. Tobit have walked all the days of my life in the way of truth and justice, and I did many armed deeds to my brethren and my nation, who came with me to Nineveh, into the land of the Assyrians. So they were so when Jonah went to Nineveh, that's who he was speaking to. Okay, the northern kingdom that would be held captive. Alright? Because Tobit just said it. But he said he did many armed deeds. Okay? You read on verse 4. When I was in my own country, the land of Israel, being young, all the tribe of Naphtali, my father, from the house of Jerusalem, was chosen out of the tribes of Israel, And all the tribes who sacrificed there where the temple of the habitation of the Most High was, consecrated and built for all ages. Verse 6, but I alone. Or verse 5, we'll read it. Now all the tribes which together revolted, and the house of my father Naphtali sacrificed unto Hefer Baal. So his father sacrificing unto Baal, man. Alright? Go by various names, man. Another name for Baal is Nimrod, man. Okay? Anyway, it says, but I alone went to Jerusalem at the feast as it was ordained unto all the people of Israel by the everlasting decree, having the first fruits and the tenth of increase, which that was first short. And then gave I at the altar to the priests and to the children of Aaron. The first 10th part of all increase I gave to the sons of Aaron, who ministered at Jerusalem. Another 10th part I sold away and went, and spread to every year Jerusalem. And the third part I gave unto them, to whom it was meet, as Deborah my father's mother had commanded me, because I was left with orphan by my father. You see? So he was given a lot. And he gave to the priest, his father's mother, his grandfather, and he said in verse 7, he sold it away, so he gave it to the poor. Okay? And that's why the Most High had mercy on him and his son. Because after a while he became blind, and the angel told Tobias what to do to heal that illness. Because of all the things that he did. We read Tobit chapter 4, verse 7. Tobit chapter 4, verse 7. It says, give alms of thy substance. So alms can be what? Money, food, clothes. Okay? It's another word for alms, like I said, the Greek word, eleman, which means mercy. Give alms of thy substance. And when thou givest alms, let not thy eye be envious, neither turn thy face from any poor, and thee and the face of the Most High shall not be turned away from you. So we read that precept again. Tobit chapter 4, verse 7. So being a help is a huge part in this statement. Alright? Tobit chapter 4, verse 7. Give alms of thy substance, and when thou givest alms, let not thy eye be envious, neither turn thy face from any poor, and the face of the Most High shall not be turned away from you. So if you give alms to the poor, the less fortunate of your people, the face of the Most High is not going to be turned from you. Especially when you give it to each other or to brethren, because that covers a multitude of sins, man. Read on. Verse 9. If thou hast abundance, give alms accordingly. So if you have, give. If thou have but a little, be not afraid to give according to that little. So give according to your strength. For thou layest up good treasure for thyself against the day of necessity. That's the point, man. The day of necessity is coming, the day of famine. The Most High is going to remember all of that, what you gave. Because it covers a multitude of sins. Says, because that alms do deliver from death, and suffer not to come into darkness. For alms is a good gift unto all that give in the sight of the Most High. There you go, man. Alms is a good gift. That's spiritual right there. Read the book of 2nd Maccabees. So giving alms is a huge part in this thing. Because every brother's not a prophet. obviously, like I said earlier, through the spirit of Yahawah, Yahawashi. So if we can meant for you to be a help, be a help. Okay? We'll read 2 Maccabees 1. Second Maccabees chapter 1, verse 23. Read another scripture. Oh, now, let me hold this. Let me hold this. Let me hold that. Okay? So, like I said, being a help is an important part of this thing. The scripture says in 1 Corinthians, the 12th chapter, Proverbs, actually. Proverbs 14:31. It says, "He that oppresseth the poor reproacheth his maker, but he that honored him have mercy. Have mercy on the poor." Man. Okay. If you hate the poor, you displease your maker. Okay. So being a help is crucial. In 1 Corinthians, the 12th chapter. Oh man. What scripture is that? Matthew 10:40. So this is just the spirit flowing, man. I'll go to Yahawashi, man. Okay? So it's time to step it up, man. The brothers that's not doing nothing. Find your lot, find your niche. Matthew chapter 10, verse 40. He that receiveth you receiveth me, and he that receiveth me receiveth him that sent me. He that receiveth a prophet in the name of a prophet shall receive a prophet's reward. And he that receiveth a righteous man in the name of a righteous man shall receive a righteous man reward. And whosoever shall give to drink unto one of these little ones, the brothers that's doing the work, a cup of cold water only in the name of a disciple, verily I say unto you, he shall in no wise lose his reward. So if you help one of the little ones, one of the elect, you're going to receive that same reward, which is what? Salvation. Okay? So like I said, being a help is a very important thing in this truth. I said 1 Corinthians, the 12th chapter. First Corinthians chapter 12. First Corinthians chapter 12. 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 4. Now therefore, there are diversities of gifts, but the same Spirit. And there are differences of administrations, but the same Lord. And there are diversities of operations, but it's the same power which worketh in all and in all. But the manifestation of the Spirit is given to every man to profit with it. For one is given the spirit of the word of wisdom, to another the word of knowledge, and by the same Spirit. To another faith in the same Spirit. To another gifts of healing by the same Spirit. To another working of miracles. To another prophecy. To another discerning of spirits. You got to know how to discern spirits. So there's different gifts. To another diverse kinds of tongues, speaking different languages. To another interpretation of tongues, understanding these languages or breaking it down. For all these work in that one and self-same Spirit, but divided to every man severally as he will. So there's different members of the body. Okay? There's the one I wanted with the one with help. Galatians, Ephesians. I think it's Ephesians, the 4th chapter. Alright, there's one I wanted. Close it out on some precepts. Will the Yahawah Yahawashi another week.
I walked to work Thursday morning.
I think it was 1 Corinthians 12. Let me go back to 1 Corinthians 12. It gotta be. Read 1 Corinthians 12 again. And start verse 8, 28. 1 Corinthians chapter 12, and we're going down. 28. There we go. And the Most High sent some in the church. First apostles, which apostles is above everybody. Secondarily prophets, which that's what we are. Thirdly, teachers. You know, brothers and prophets and teachers. We come out here, we prophesy, and we teach for them sit-downs. After miracles and gifts of healing, which we can do right now through prayer, the Lord willing, He's going to give us spiritual power. Helps, man. We just read, Tobit was a help. He gave alms, all right? All right, he gave 30% in tithes. Tithe means 10. All right, but he gave to his father's mother, took care of him when he was young, gave to the poor, and he gave to the priest. So the scripture says, and the Most High have sent some in the church, first apostles, secondary prophets, thirdly teachers, after that miracles, then the gifts of healing, helps, governments, diversities of tongues. Find your lot, man. Find your lot, man. Basically, bottom line, find your lot. Find your lot in this thing, man. So like I said, charity is a huge thing. Huge thing. I read the book of Maccabees. So we praying for this thing to end. It's the year of prophecy. But willing all the prophecies come to pass. Alright? Second Maccabees chapter 1. Verse 23. And the priest made a prayer whilst the sacrifice was consumed, and say, both the priests and all the rest, Jonathan beginning, and the rest answering thereunto, as Nehemiah did. And the prayer was after this manner: O Lord, power, creator of all things, who art fearful and strong, and righteous and merciful, and holy and gracious King, the only giver of all things, and only just, almighty and everlasting, that delivered Israel from all troubles, and disposed the fathers and sanctified them. Receive the sacrifice of thy whole people Israel, and preserve thine own portion and sanctify it. And that portion is the elect. And we being sanctified are being clean right now, so that shall pass into the fire, which is affliction. Gather those together that are scattered from us, deliver them that serve among the heathen. Look upon them that are despised and abhorred, and let the heathen know that are our power. Punish them that oppress us, Esau, Edom. Okay, the so-called white man today, man. Alright? It says what? Punish them that oppress us, and with pride do us wrong. Plant thy people again in thy holy place, as Moses has spoken. And the priest sung songs of thanksgiving, man. That's what we want, man. We want the Most High to do these things. Read the book of Jeremiah, chapter 3, verse 16. Okay? In fact, let me read 2nd Ezra chapter 4, verse 27. So all our forefathers prayed for the kingdom, man. Like the angel Uriel, told Ezra, 2nd Ezra 4:27. Still on? Oh, it's not cut. Oh, okay. Wow. 2nd Ezra chapter 4, verse 27. Let's start from 26. It says, 2nd Ezra 4:26, he said, Then answered he me and said, The more thou searchest, the more thou shalt marvel, for the world hasteth to pass away. Okay, the world is hastening to pass away. This current setup. And cannot comprehend the things that are promised to the righteous in time to the come, for this world is full of unrighteousness and infirmities, man. Wickedness, man. And our people are at the bottom, but they don't give a damn. Mentally and spiritually, they're sick. See, and they got to be done away with, man. Point blank. Verse 28. But as concerning the things whereof thou hast asked, I will tell you. I will tell thee, for the evil. This one concerning. Verse 27, and cannot comprehend the things that are promised to the righteous. Verse 26 again. Then answered he me and said, The more thou searchest, the more that thou shalt marvel, for the world hasteth to pass away, and cannot comprehend the things that are promised to the righteous in time to come, man. And that's the kingdom, man. And these people, they can't comprehend the kingdom, man. We'll read Jeremiah 3:16 and I may close it out. Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 16. Jeremiah 3:16. Jeremiah 3:16, it says, And it shall come to pass, when he have thee multiplied and increased in the land, in those days, saith Yahawashi, There shall no more the ark of the covenant of the Lord, Yahawashi, neither shall it come to mind, neither shall they remember it, neither they shall visit it, neither it shall be done anymore. At that time they shall call Jerusalem the throne of the Lord, man. Okay? That's what we waiting for, man. And all the nations shall be gathered unto it, to the name of Yahawah Shemiel Shah, to Jerusalem. Neither they shall walk any more after the imagination of their evil heart. In those days the house of Judah shall walk with the house of Israel, who's Judah the southern kingdom, and who's deaf to you, man. This ain't no fucking joke, man. Okay? The house, the southern kingdom is what? Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. So-called African Americans, you West Indians, and you Levites, man, you Haitians. And then you have the northern kingdom, which are you Hispanics and you Native Americans, man. Okay, the Lord gonna deal with scoffers, man. Okay, the Most High gonna deal with scoffers, man. Okay? Your laughter gonna turn into what? Tears, man. It's 18. In those days, the house, in this time period we read it right now in the scriptures, what happened? Edomites gonna be in slavery in that time, man. And then it's not gonna be so funny anymore. But I pray for that dude in the kingdom, man. Anybody that ever done you harm, man, said anything slick to you, yo, and they're heathen, pray the Lord give you that person in the kingdom. Okay, start owning your slaves now. But in order to get to that level, you gotta do the work. Alright? You gotta finish the work. In those days the house of Judah shall walk with the house of Israel. They shall come together out of the land of the north, which is what? America, aka Babylon. This is the land of the north. That's gonna be destroyed, man. And you got our people that are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, that I have given for an inheritance unto your fathers. So we're in a time now of the gathering of the 12 tribes. That's what he prayed for in the book of Maccabees. The Most High would gather his people and set them in a place that he promised to our forefathers, which is the land of Jerusalem. Okay? Gather those that are scattered. John? Okay, this is one more precept.
Sí, puede ser preso, no dice nunca lo pone.
Let me see, he up there mocking and scoffing, man. So every idle word men shall speak, you're gonna have to give an account thereof, man.